A massive fraud detection agent is actively running your security right now. It's approving thousands of transactions a minute, and it is quietly, systematically missing an entirely new pattern of attack. Bad transactions are slipping through the cracks, draining accounts and exposing your system to massive risk. But if you look at the system dashboards in the control room, everything is entirely green. The servers are up, the API calls are completing, and nothing is crashing.
To your IT department, the system looks completely healthy. It's returning a 200 OK status code for every single operation. The agent is passing every traditional software test you have. But here is the terrifying reality of modern AI. Passing traditional software tests absolutely does not mean the agent is making the right decisions. It's failing silently because nobody can actually see how it's deciding, only that it hasn't crashed. To understand why these agents fail so silently, we have to understand what makes them fundamentally different. AI agents are non-deterministic. That just means they're a system whose behavior emerges from dynamic judgment rather than a fixed set of predictable instructions. In the old days, software was a strict checklist. If a system crashed, it threw an error code. But an AI agent is making dynamic, probabilistic choices based on memory, planning, and interacting with its environment. Traditional checklist-style quality assurance is completely meaningless now.
Think of it like a completely different environment. A kitchen. Traditional software is a line cook making a fast food burger. They have a laminated, rigid checklist. Toast bun for 30 seconds, grilled patty for 90 seconds, add 1 slice of cheese. You can easily monitor that line cook just by verifying that checklist. But an AI agent, that's a gourmet chef in a mystery box challenge. You give them an end goal, like make a fantastic dessert, and a basket of ingredients. There is no single correct recipe. They're improvising. And you absolutely cannot evaluate an improvising chef with a laminated checklist.
So how do you actually judge this gourmet chef? You use a framework called the outside-in method. You start from the outside. First, you simply taste the dish. Did the agent actually achieve the final goal? Was the final answer correct? But if the dish tastes terrible, or even if it tastes great but took 10 hours to make, you have to move inside. You have to open up the black box and watch the cook. You evaluate their entire execution trajectory, observing their actual reasoning trail, which tools they picked up, and how they handled mistakes, rather than just looking at the final plate. To actually get eyes into that kitchen, we have to make the agent watchable. We rely on 3 foundational pillars that capture the agent's thought process. We have logs, which act as the diary of what happened. We have traces, which are the story connecting those entries. And we have metrics, which serve as the final scorecard. It starts with logs. These are time-stamped, structured entries recording a raw, immutable fact about a single event or decision. Think of them as the chef's meticulous prep notes or diary entries. At 10:01, the agent was asked the question. At 10:02, it decided to pick up the search tool. A great log captures the exact intent before the chef takes an action and the outcome immediately after. They tell us exactly what happened in isolation. But isolated diary entries aren't enough to understand a complex recipe, right? You need traces. A trace is the causal narrative thread linking individual logs together from the initial prompt to the final output. Imagine the red yarn on a detective's corkboard. If the final dish failed, traces let us follow that yarn backward. We see the user's query, we see the agent search for data, we see the search fail, we see the agent get confused, and we see the resulting hallucination. Traces turn isolated events into the full, continuous story of how the agent reasoned. And then there are metrics. These are the aggregated health scores calculated over time from all those logs and traces. If logs are the prep notes and traces are watching the chef cook, metrics are the food critic's final published scorecard. They separate the basic operational vital signs, like how fast the meal was served and how much the ingredients cost, from the actual nuanced quality of the chef's decision-making across hundreds of different meals.
When that critic writes their review, a good agent is defined by 4 essential pillars. Effectiveness, did it achieve the goal? Efficiency, what was the operational cost in time and resources? Robustness, how reliably does it handle the messiness of the real world, like missing ingredients or broken tools? And above all, safety. Is it operating within ethical boundaries and keeping user data secure? This is the unyielding standard of validation.
Building true trust isn't a one-time final inspection on opening night. It has to be an ongoing, continuous feedback loop. You define what good means using your 4 pillars. You make the system watchable through logs and traces. You judge the quality using automated metrics and human reviewers. And crucially,
You feed those failures directly back into the system to force relentless improvement. Evaluating artificial intelligence demands a fundamental shift. A capable agent is not just a machine that prints out a correct answer. The final answer is merely the last line of a much longer story, and the story is what you actually have to judge. When you stop verifying checklists and start evaluating the entire journey, that is when you move from a capable system to a truly trustworthy one.